our audience should be quiet. Everybody should be doing team value rubrics or pitch feedback. Whenever you're ready.
Alright, so our project was bulky, specifically HDPE plastics filling up landfills by Quincy Rose, Avery Rodriguez, Christopher Graham, and Nicole Angel. So 495,300 tons of plastic is dumped in landfills in Iowa alone. And Iowa City makes up just 5% of that. And while that is a decently small amount, we still need to give our landfill the capacity to recycle bulky plastics. HDPE plastics is one of the most commonly used plastics in the world. It is used for commercial bottles, packaging, and it's signified by the 2 HDPE recycling that you see on most of it. It can be recycled up to 10 times, which doesn't sound like a lot, but the average plastic can only be recycled up to 2 times. Out of 20 interviewed, we 95%, 19 out of 20, of our customers stated it was a problem. 85%, 17 out of 20, saw value in our solution. 60%, 12 out of 20, of our customers were 13 to 20 years old. 10%, 2 out of 20, of our customers were 20 to 30 years old. 30%, 6 out of 20, of our customers were 40 plus. The one that suggested it was not a problem suggested that plastic could be simply shredded and then dumped into landfills. This is not true. Bulky plastic can make soil infertile, which means it's harder for organisms in the soil to break down plastics in landfills. HDPE plastic also forces landfills to make expansions since it's so large, and it takes up much valuable space. Our key members, Quincy Rose, Avery Rodriguez, Christopher Graham, William Johnson, Jane Wilt, our recycling coordinator here at the Iowa City landfill, Vecco Plan, who is the one we were looking for our industrial grade shredder, and Reganade, which is a steel building manufacturer. Our solution is to introduce a shredder to the facility, specifically a Vecco Plan VAS 2000. More plastic will be recycled, incentivizing more citizens to drop off recycled items. Then people can also use old items to make new stuff. The VAS 2000 is specifically designed for paper and bulky plastics. For our purposes, we'll be using it for bulky plastics. Its compartment in the middle can easily be removed so that the shredded plastic can easily be taken out and then packaged. It's also smaller than the usual industrial grade shredder, which makes the price drop considerably. Our solution also would involve adding a new expansion to the recycling center. It would be 100 by 50 by 20, steel building like the others. Here's the approximate area where we put it. That's where the shredder would go, and this is where we could store the recycled plastic. Why would we want this? Smaller pieces of plastic are easier to transport, and the process is vital in reducing the carbon footprint of making plastic waste management. It reduces the amount of plastic filling up landfills, as well as cutting the amount of space at landfills needed. Why don't they have one? The simple reason is that it's not economically feasible. Based on the budget of the recycling department, as they've been looking into getting one, but they don't have the finances for it. The cost, so a Vecco Plan shredder would cost around $38,000 to introduce. A steel building that we would be hosting it in would hire for $99,230, which our total comes out to $137,230. By selling recycled plastic, we can get an income of about 23 cents per pound, but this money is pretty much inconsequential to finance. how would we afford it? Simply, we would have a budget cut of neighborhood services. It would be $1,037, $230 out of their $304,611 budget. Now, this one would be all at once, as that would cripple their services. It'd be about $27,446 a year over the course of 5 years. Through our interviews, 54% wanted neighborhood services to be cut, 18% wanted parks and recreation, and 27% wanted to cut something else like miscellaneous or government salaries. How would we afford it? So our plan would be to have a meeting to decide on how the expansion should be financed. The city can have a say in how they want it to be financed. Our next steps would be to actually start developing the expansion and to figure out a specific financial plan. Thank you. Any questions?